many of us began when we read the words "the end" at the conclusion of Interview with the Vampire. We're here because the movements of our lives, our passions, even our beliefs were sculpted by the beguiling words of an incarnate muse with a ferocious intellect, delicious prose, and a preternatural talent for storytelling. For each of us, these mythological tales leapt beyond the printed page and into the wildest parts of our imaginations. Who among us can honestly say they did not wish for immortality? Not out of ego or cruelty, but out of a lust for life. For the time to explore every art form, every language and culture, every exotic location the world over. Who among us did not wish until it ached at the idea of drinking the world so deeply? At the risk of sounding glib, I've read lots of books. I didn't buy a closet full of black clothes over any of them. These stories were special. When I read Anne's description of Louisiana, the phrase "sunsets, the color of blood" conjured an image so touchably real, I could almost taste the Mississippi on the wind. Ew. My own story begins in 1989 at the London YMCA when a friend handed me a beat-up copy of Interview with the Vampire, insisting that it was absolutely not fiction. If only I had put that book down and gone back to my video games, I could have been a plumber, a dentist maybe, I don't know. That's not what happened. Instead, my whole sense of reality became bigger. My desire to travel and taste the oldest places on Earth became an obsession. My appetite for music and art became wider and more ravenous. More than this, I felt for the first time a sense of raw power inside, a fury of will to live beyond the seemingly mundane aspects of normal life. To see the real Savage Garden in all its brilliance with my own flawed, mortal eyes, even when they were covered with tears. Like Louis, I wanted to see Paris because it's the mother of New Orleans. Like Marius, I wanted to stay in touch with the world, no matter how it changed around me with time. Like Macaire, I wanted to walk into the furthest unknown reaches of the world like a wild thing and stare down the darkness beyond all that is known. I learned to see solitude as noble, to see companionship as sacred, and to see art as medicine. All of this because one indomitable woman found a voice for her pain and shared it without apologies. The greatest gift left to us by Anne Rice is that she taught us how to find the poetry in moments of great tragedy and isolation. She urged us to find the stamina to endure and to savor the texture in all things, but especially the darkness. I'll close with this. To find beauty in pain is a creative and courageous act. Remember then that the Vampire Chronicles begin with Lestat imploring Louis to see beyond his momentary grief and behold the world's beauty in shades 1,000 times more radiant with his vampire eyes. My godmother told me once, when your mother dies, you should cry. But here in New Orleans, the second line jazz funeral tradition has two parts. The first is a long, slow walk to the cemetery accompanied by the mournful sound of the band playing a funeral dirge. But after the burial, there is always a break, and then all the way back to town, there's jazz. This up-tempo music is meant as a physical reminder that even though we may have buried our kin only an hour ago, we're here now. And while we have breath, we can still sing and dance and laugh and drink sweet wine together right here, right now, in this seductive and mysterious city. For the sake of our younger selves, for the outsiders and the shy yet to come, and for all the beautiful, rarefied queer kids everywhere who need to know they are not alone.
Hallelujah.
Let the doors Anne Rice opened for each of us remain open.